Good evening. The Board of Trustees of the Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District is now convened in a regular meeting on Monday, February 12th, 2018, in the boardroom of the Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District Instructional Support Center, 10300 Jones Road, Houston, Texas, at 6 p.m. I want to thank the members of our audience and our television viewers to this meeting of the Board of Trustees. As the Cypress-Fairbanks Board of Trustees, we are here to set goals, listen to reports from the superintendent, approve budgets, contracts, personnel appointments, and make policy for the district. It is not the role of the board to make day-to-day operational decisions. The management and day-to-day operations of the district are the responsibility of the superintendent. We have policies and procedures in place to resolve concerns and issues. This is a public meeting of the Board of Trustees, not a meeting of the public. Prior to this meeting, board members received information related to items on tonight's agenda. And agenda items will not necessarily be handled in the order listed on the notice. The meeting is open to all who wish to attend and hear the matters discussed. During the course of this meeting, the board may determine that a closed session is necessary. In that event, the board will meet in a closed session to consider matters duly posted for this meeting as permitted by sections 551.071 through 551.084 of the Texas Government Code. These proceedings are airing live on CFTV Channel 16 and CFTV online on the district website. They will also be rebroadcast throughout the month on Channel 16 and available as video on demand on the website. For the tape to adequately reflect the proceedings, I respectfully ask that you please refrain from talking while others are speaking and that cell phones are turned off or in silent mode. Thank you for taking the time to join us this evening and for your interest in the Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District. I would like to also take this opportunity to recognize our community leadership committees, committee members who are in attendance this evening. And we have Danica Smithwick and Julie Heineman. Would you all, and also Cameron Dickey, would you? Hello, okay, great, amen. And we also have a Boy Scout in our audience, Anish Basapa. Would you stand? So glad he's from Troop 17A, Smith Middle School, and his badge, he's working on his communications. Glad to have you tonight. We will have an invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance, so please stand with me for this invocation and the presentation of the colors. Pastor David Welch of Black Creek Church, and he's been the pastor there since 2001. His church has adopted Walker Elementary, where they provide great support to the students and staff there. We're glad to have you. Thank you, Pastor Dave, for all you do in the community. Also, our Cypress Falls High School JROTC cadets will present the flag and the Pledge of Allegiance. And they are Cadet Second Lieutenant Emmanuel Sapolucia and Cadet First Lieutenant Daniel Perizoka and Cadet Captain Angelica Santiago and Cadet Staff Sergeant Richard Kincaid. Their sponsors are Lieutenant Chris Eccles and Master Sergeant Herman Broussard.
Let's bow together. And so, God, we thank you for who you are. We thank you that you are light and love. We thank you that you pour out grace and mercy on our lives. And we thank you, as the Bible says, that you are good and that you do good. And God, I want to just thank you for this community and for the children that you have entrusted to us to love and protect and to nurture. And God, I thank you so much for the Cypress School District and the incredible influence that it exerts in our children's lives to nurture and educate and grow them and to really bring forth the next generation. And I want to pray for the leadership in this room. I pray for wisdom for them. And I thank you for this board. I thank you for Dr. Henry and all his staff. And I pray for blessing over all of them. And that means your protection, and it means your guidance, and it means your flourishing in their lives. And we pray it, and I pray it in Jesus' name. Amen.
All guys, and every colors.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sports, arms.
Please be seated. Board Member Tom Jackson will read the district's vision and mission statement for the benefit of the audience.
Our vision statement: learn, empower, achieve, dream, lead. Our mission statement: maximize every student's potential through rigorous and relevant learning experiences, preparing students to be 21st century global leaders.
Thank you. We will now move to the special recognitions portion of the agenda. 1A, the superintendent will make remarks, announcements, including honors and achievements earned by the staff and students in recent weeks.
Thank you, Dr. Ogletree. Board members, on January 18th, approximately 200 students and community members enjoyed various foods made by potential CFISD vendors at the annual food tasting event at the Berry Center. These vendors provided input on new products available for school lunches and breakfast. Visitors toured the various booths in the conference center, then provided feedback on each item by filling out an evaluation sheet. The theme of the event was Hit a Home Run with School Lunch. Dance teams from CFISD high schools showcased their talents at the 2018 CFISD Dance Show-Offs on January 20th at the Berry Center. Each dance team performed multiple routines at the event, which featured performances by the Honor Dance Team and All-District Dance Team. The Community Showcase featured approximately 600 participants district-wide. On January 26th, 4 decades of Campbell Middle School staff, students, and community members came together for a reunion, telling stories, sharing memories, and acknowledging standards still in place as the campus celebrated its 40th year anniversary. Those in attendance were treated to performances by current students, while former students and staff were honored and shared their best and most memorable times at Campbell. Opening its doors in 1978, Campbell was the 4th middle school in Cypress ISD. The Cypress Woods High School boys and girls swim teams defended their District 18 6A championships. while the Cypress Ranch High School boys and Cy-Fair High School girls teams clinched the District 17 6A titles. The Cy-Fair High School girls swimming and diving teams went on to claim the Region 5 6A championship title. Also, after Bridgeland High School boys and girls teams swept the District 24 5A titles, they posted the top 5 finishes in boys and girls team competitions at the Region 6 5A championships. The Cypress Creek High School girls basketball team won the 17 6A district championship for the 2017-18 season with a 12-1 record in district play. The Cougars finished 2 games ahead of both Cypress Ranch High School and Jersey Village High School, who tied for second with identical 10-3 marks in league games. And just to add to that, all 4 of our playoff teams are playing tonight, some of them while I'm currently speaking. The Cypress Ranch High School girls wrestling team won the District 10 6A championship title last week at the Berry Center, followed by runner-up Cypress Ridge and third place Cypress Woods High School. On the boys' side, Cy-Fair High School claimed the District 10 6A team championship title. The Cypress Park High School girls wrestling team won the District 12 5A championship title last week at Foster High School in Richmond. Thank you, Dr. Ogletree.
Thank you, Dr. Henry. We're now at the board comment section of our agenda. Any board member may make comment during this portion of the agenda without prior posting being required. Comment items may not pertain to the character of any student, staff, or board member and may not be discussed or deliberated upon at this time. Who wants to? All right.
Good evening. It's been a busy couple of weeks since the last school board meeting, but in that time I visited Joel Elementary and Kimberly Criswell and her staff, and then Lowry Elementary, I guess it'd be week before last now, with April Wright, and just had such great visits, such outstanding campuses in Cy-Fair ISD with great learning opportunities for our students. And I only wish many, many, many years ago when I was in school it would have been that much fun. And this week I'm looking forward to visiting Bang and Moore Elementary later this week. I was honored to attend Campbell Middle School's 40th anniversary. We saw it up there on the screen, and it was so great to see old friends that I haven't seen in a long time, and to be part of that great celebration that they have rich with history. I want to congratulate this year's National Merit Scholars. There was a recognition ceremony this past, just a week ago on Monday night, and my congratulations go out to them and all the students' parents. Also, last week attended JA Inspire, and that was an awesome event. It's such a great event for our middle schoolers to be able to participate in and get a look at what may lie ahead for them and all the opportunities that are available to them in their future. Also, this past weekend was the Cy-Fair ISD Livestock Show and Sale, and I want to congratulate Denise Quebeca and Lisa Hernandez and their staffs on what a great show it was. It was very well run. If there were any problems, I never saw any, and I was there practically the entire time, it feels like. And one thing I wanted to let our viewing audience know that as we went through the shows, the thing I repeatedly heard the judges from different parts of our state that came in to judge the livestock say was what a great facility we had, and not only that, but how respectful our students were and how great they looked dressed in their official uniform dress while they were showing. That doesn't happen in all school shows, and I'm so proud of our school district that we still insist that they dress in official dress. But their comments all talked about the kids and how respectful and how they said yes sir and no sir. And as a board trustee and as a former parent and a grandparent now, that means a great deal to me, and this program promotes that type of student. A student who learns responsibility, how to care for an animal. And if you were in the barn that evening after the sale at loading time, there were a lot of wet eyes as students parted with their animals. My granddaughter being one of them. But I also want to thank our buyers that came out. We know it was a rough year with Hurricane Harvey, and although the sale was down, the spirit was still there, and I just thank all those who came and participated in the sale and helped our students out. Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie.
I have completed my school visits. However, I continue to enjoy seeing the many great things happening in CFISD in person, not all of which will I have time to mention this evening. I would welcome a local Pulitzer Prize winning columnist to join me on any of my trips to gain a slightly different perspective. At the Horizon Showcase, I visited the social studies sciences this year and discovered that our students had dug deeply into formative Texas history, World War I and World War II history, and most interestingly enough, homelessness in our city. I was thrilled to hear the music of Lie-By Truett and the Cy Falls Choir at the warm-up concert for TMEA champion Cy Falls singers. I was a substitute for Bob while he was out of the state attending to trustee matters. I couldn't be more proud of our National Merit students as I heard their postgraduate plans. These high-achieving students are remarkable in that they participate in a wide range of activities, including athletics, band, and orchestra, in addition to their areas of highest success. This involvement is only possible in a district with an education model that includes a variety of extracurricular activities at each and every school. Isn't this really what school choice is supposed to look like? The 3 days of JA Inspire permitted our 8th graders to think about future plans and the academic steps necessary to achieve those dreams. Each keynote speaker was different, but each had a similar message and urged our students to aspire. This brainchild of Dr. Henry, which was given life by Dr. Linda Macias and her team, has inspired 3 other major events similar to this in Greater Harris County. I was told by several that ours was perhaps the best organized. A mark of great leadership is when you inspire others to emulate that which you are doing. A special tip of the hat to Mr. Rick Franke of JA, who has guided us on each of these years of JA Inspire. I thank you, sir. At College Special Interest Night, students were given another opportunity to explore requirements for postgraduate plans. Ray Cepeda, athletic director, reminded me that although I have 3 years of college eligibility remaining, I possess none of the required athletic measurables. You might check them out too, Don. I think you have a couple of years of eligibility left. At a reception recently, I was approached by a retired member of the Board of Regents of a Division I university here in Texas. He stressed that the importance of Cy-Fair winning the state championship was more than just an athletic event, as it positively impacted the community as a whole. I was a pinch hitter for Leslie Francis at the Pie Awards given out by the Houston Society of CPAs. 5 of our schools received grants for the benefit of students. A tip of the hat to these schools and to grant writer Lucinda Orr. We're all aware of the Herculean efforts of the staff and community volunteers in the wake of Hurricane Harvey. I was most pleasantly surprised to see that 52 of our JROTC students from Cy Ridge received the Air Force Authorized Humanitarian Award for their efforts. As always, our salute to the heroes is very special, and I extend a hand of gratitude to our veterans as well as those elected representatives who attended the event. Talking with our students at the Ag Show, I was impressed by their attitude, whether their entries were judged champion or freezer. They are all winners, and the lesson of project completion will last a lifetime. And the community support for this event is truly tremendous. And I thank the community as well.
Thank you, Tom. Did you say that you substituted for Bob?
I did, but oddly enough, Bob, they did not ask me to direct any one of the choirs. I have no idea why.
I was hoping not. Okay.
Thanks, Tom. I appreciate you pinch hitting there for me. And I did spend 4 days in Washington, D.C., which is sometimes a test to your humanity. But it was a very interesting time because they were talking about closing down the government again. And that's a hard pill to swallow there. And so usually I get to see all three of our representatives that are in my area. And this time I was unable to because they'd been called to the White House for a meeting. I did have the opportunity to visit with Ted Cruz, our senator, and it was just a photo op with him. But John Cornyn actually spent some time with us. And one of the things that was up, and I'm just going to go blank on the name of it. What is the CTE? What's the act? Do it. Perkins, yeah. And so it was the Perkins Act, which helps support us in our CTE and our career in technology. And it was held up. It was actually voted by the House, and it was being held up in the Senate between Senator Lamar Alexander and Senator Patty Murray, who had a difference of opinion on verbalization in the bill. And so I don't usually contact people that are outside of our area, but this time I did. And I was encouraged by a number of other people in the group that were representing Texas. We had over 60 that were up there. And hopefully they're going to start moving that forward. I also attended the stock show, which is always a joy. It's always fun to go to. I didn't get to spend as much time there as I liked. But to add to what Ms. Blackshear said, I did overhear one of the judges, saying that he was impressed not only with the kids, but also with the parental involvement and support that he saw, and the administration being involved too, which he commented that you don't see that in many districts. And it's a little bit on the sad side when the kids don't make the sale, but it's always impressive on their commitment. And when these kids are having to go and feed animals twice a day for however many months they do it, and if you have a steer, it's 9 months, and you take a teenager that's committed to doing that, that's a heck of a commitment, and I applaud them and their parents because I know it was an effort on all sides. Today I got to go to Reed Elementary and meet Mr. Diaz and McPhee and meet Mrs. Whitfield. And both of them are new principals at these schools. But I'm going to tell you the conversion from a principal that was there for a number of years to a brand new principal is flawless. And I applaud the administration for making sure that happens like it does. It was a lot of fun because both of them told me, we've never had a visit, nor have we had to host it, so you tell us what we're going to do. And that was a lot of fun. But I'll tell you, it's amazing to see the involvement of kids that are truly into what they're learning. And someone like me that's walking around, they'll take a look at you and go back to work on what they're doing. And that's awesome. I also went to Salyards Middle School and was able to tour through there, and it's really a spectacular event. So I don't do a tip of the hat, but it has been a wonderful month and a wonderful year, and I just appreciate especially our teachers, and especially the ag teachers and all the time that they put in. So thank y'all very much for all that you do.
You know,
Everything's been said. There's nothing left.
oh gosh. Come on, Don, say hello or something.
I'd move on as quick as possible. No.
I too attended the Campbell's 40th celebration. It was great to see the history there. Also the J.A. Inspire event, that 3-day. Gosh, it's amazing, and we know it's going to pay some future dividends and some choices of careers for our students. Also, I attended the Educational Foundation's special banquet to honor those who served in military, and that is really a heartwarming event to see those who have dedicated their lives and to honor them. My schools were TIPS and Warner, excellent principals programs. And yesterday, our administrative team, our people do so much. And we had some down yesterday at the George R. Brown servicing our parents and students who had been affected by Harvey. I know Dr. Deborah Stewart and Dr. J. Simpson Butler were at least two of those down there, and that Cole, and we thank God for the company that gave that $1,000 to those families who were hurting, suffered from Harvey, and just shows the extent of our district's hand of love and care, that even on Sunday they're servicing families. So, Dr. Henry, you got a great team, and we're thankful for it. We'll now go to the citizen participation portion of our agenda, and I don't know if anyone is signed up. Do we have? Okay. Patrons who have duly registered per policy BED local may address the board regarding matters of concern and interest to the district other than the character of any student, staff, or board member. I'd like to remind the audience and viewers that the comments of the speakers reflect their own positions or opinions. The board may not discuss or act upon any matter not listed on our agenda. And therefore, the board members may not discuss the comments of the speakers. So please understand that a lack of response from board members does not indicate agreement or approval of the comments. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes to address the board. Bob Covey, Secretary of the Board, will be our designated timekeeper. Okay. Is that actually Christine?
I'll move over.
It's actually Christine, but Bob's going to do it. He learned a lot about timekeeping up in D.C. So, the speaker, the green light will come on when you begin your comments. The yellow light will appear when you have 30 seconds, and then when the red light comes on, please conclude your comments. Thank you. Our speaker tonight will be Danielle Alexander. Please come up, Miss Alexander.
Good evening, Superintendent Henry and honored board members. My name is Danielle Alexander. I've lived in the Houston area my entire life. I went to Houston School Systems, University of Houston. I'm a small business owner, and I'm a parent of a future student. I'm here today to discuss troubling videos showing workers at one of your vendors, Bio Corporation, drowning pigeons, injecting live crayfish with latex, and discussing other egregious acts that are seemingly business as usual in the dissection supply industry. At Bio Corporation, pigeons arrived alive and tightly packed into plastic crates, and then workers submerged the crates into tubs of water, drowning the birds. The American Veterinary Medical Association deems death by drowning inhumane and unacceptable. A veterinarian who watched this footage commented that drowning would cause pigeons prolonged pain and distress for as long as 10 minutes. The birds would panic, hyperventilate, and struggle to keep their heads above water. Then they would hold their breath until they couldn't any longer. At that point, their lungs would fill with water, leading to vomiting, painful spasms in the airways, and finally loss of consciousness, cardiac arrest, and death. Turtles were shipped frozen to Bio Corporation, but workers, sometimes including a supervisor, said that these animals would come back to life. Staff said that the fully conscious turtles were then put back into a freezer. The company was subsequently charged with 25 counts of cruelty to animals. Dissection suppliers continue these hideous practices because schools continue to purchase animals for dissection, even though modern and humane alternatives exist and are increasingly being adopted. There's no educational value to making students cut into animals' corpses, but there are many benefits of humane, non-animal instruction, such as digital dissection, and they're well documented. Dozens of peer-reviewed studies show that dissecting animals is bad science, whereas when students use modern methods, they learn faster and are able to repeat material until they're proficient. Studies also show that students prefer using humane alternatives, such as interactive simulations and anatomical models. Dissecting animals has been shown to dissuade some students, especially females, from entering science-related fields, and some students are uncomfortable speaking up because of fears of potential ostracism from peers and teachers. A growing majority of young people are opposed to animal experimentation and dissection in educational settings. The act of cutting open an animal, a misguided but often sanctioned classroom activity, teaches children that living beings are disposable and downplays the fact that they were once alive. And as we saw at BioCorporation, often killed exclusively for these exercises. And this is a dangerous lesson. All U.S. medical schools have ended animal dissection activities, so clearly there is no reason for middle schools or high school students to dissect animals. We hope the board chooses to support humane science education by replacing animal dissections with computer-based learning tools that are superior and humane. Thank you for your time and your consideration.
Thank you, Ms. Alexander. We're now at the report section of our agenda. 4A, administration will provide an oral report on career and technical education, JA Inspire. Linda Macias.
Good evening, Dr. Ogletree, Dr. Henry, and board members. Thank you so much for allowing us some time to talk to you about our CTE programs and our JA Inspire program. Denise Quebeca, our Director for Career and Technical Education, will begin the presentation with the CTE program.
Good evening, Dr. Ogletree, Dr. Henry, and board members. I'm pleased to be able to share with you an overview of the Career and Technical Education, or CTE, department. Note the CFISD CTE Opportunity Starts Here logo. You will notice we included an old-fashioned skeleton key with a modern and updated look. We feel the primary objective for our department is to give students the key to unlock opportunities. We updated the look of the key to symbolize the fact that we are constantly reviewing and updating our curriculum and equipment to match what students will encounter in the real world. In our presentation tonight, we will share with you the facets of our department that led us to this slogan. Before we describe what we do, let's start with who we are. The CTE department has 12 members supporting the 135 career-related courses available to students in the middle and high schools. I serve as the director focusing on compliance, accountability, grants, and funding, along with supporting the ag program, including the 3 CFISD ag barns and the annual CFISD livestock show. We have 4 coordinators. They're here tonight. Lisa Hernandez, who supports the business, marketing, finance, multimedia, computer science, and health science courses and teachers, along with coordinating the use of Lone Star College facilities and faculty to make EMT and CNA training available for our students. She is currently working to add fire science as an option as well. Dr. Sharon Hogue, who supports the family and consumer sciences, child development, education, interior design, fashion design, and cosmetology courses and teachers, along with managing the high school preschools and child care centers, the teen parenting program, and AFJROTC. Vanessa Coach, who supports the audio-visual production courses and teachers, in addition to her responsibilities with the CFISD Cinema. And Mark Williams, who supports culinary arts, engineering, welding, architecture, manufacturing, networking, and automotive courses and teachers, along with taking the lead on connecting with our facilities department and vendors for building mods and/or repairs. He also coordinates our department-wide advisory council. In addition, we have 3 curriculum coaches and 4 secretaries. Opportunity starts here. Areas of industry to explore. This year, approximately 30,000 students are currently enrolled across the 135 courses our department supports. Students can start taking these courses as early as 7th grade. Our department assists campus principals as they hire the almost 400 teachers it takes to provide these opportunities for students. You can see by the nature of our courses that we must look for teachers with particular skill sets. Many of our teachers come to us after successfully working in industry. Knowing industry is constantly changing, our department seeks out and provides training for all of our teachers to keep them up to date with what is expected from our students today and in the future. Most school districts offer courses in many, if not all, of the areas listed, but CFISD sets itself apart from the crowd by offering everything to everyone, regardless of their zip code. Opportunity for all. For example, rather than having one high school designated as a magnet school for a particular area such as health professions, we offer those courses in each of our 12 comprehensive high schools. In doing so, more students can have this opportunity versus having to limit the number of students that can be accepted into one magnet school. Students are also able to take classes in and stay connected with their neighborhood school. What also sets us apart is that we offer more than just introductory courses. We offer a progression of courses in these areas that guide students to advanced topics and skills. For example, in robotics, students may take an introductory engineering course as early as 7th grade, in which they learn to build and program robots. Students wishing to pursue this field of industry further may go on to take more advanced robotics courses and even participate in a competition. In addition to teaching students to master technical skills, our programs also focus on the soft skills needed for students to gain and maintain employment. Students who take advantage of our courses should graduate with project management skills. Given a task, they should be able to work with others to problem solve and see a project through from the design stage to completion. We just finished our 24th annual livestock show on Saturday. About 800 students participated in entering almost 900 projects. While we all know that all of these students will not go on to work in the field of agriculture, what we can say is they gained a wealth of experience over the past several months as they raised or built their entries, whether that be having to feed and tend to animals day in and day out, regardless of the weather or how tired they were, or to design and possibly redesign projects to achieve optimal results. They then have to publicly present their projects and accept the feedback. All of these are skills that will serve them well in any area of industry. There are also many opportunities for student engagement beyond the classroom in the form of internships and job placements. For example, we have Hunch, where students collaborate with NASA to build hardware and soft goods for the International Space Station. In AYES, we have students interning in the service departments of places like our own Cypher Transportation Department and area automotive and heavy equipment dealerships. Our farm tech students shadow pharmacists and farm techs in retail and compound pharmacies as they train to pass their certification exam. And in education and training, students take on the role of student teachers in our own elementary and middle schools. With the changes made to the graduation requirements in House Bill 5, students are now encouraged to take a series of courses that require them to get to advanced topics. Gone are the days of taking the core requirements and then signing up for a variety of electives that might all be at the introductory level. While there's still room in their schedule to do some sampling of courses, students earning endorsements must get to the advanced courses in some field. Many of these fields fall within the courses supported by the CTE department. Part of what makes our CTE program so strong is our district's dedication to providing state-of-the-art facilities. In yesterday's Chronicle, it was mentioned that 85% of the jobs that will exist in 2030 haven't been invented yet. Annually, we invite representatives of various industries to meet with us and give us feedback on what we should continue and what we might adjust to help ensure our students have the skills they are looking for. Equipping students with transferable skills is key in our courses. For example, when we train automotive students on how to use a particular alignment machine, the goal is for them to have the knowledge and skills needed to troubleshoot and successfully run any alignment machine. Open up any job site and you'll see postings where companies are looking for individuals who hold certifications documenting their skill set. In CFISD, students have the opportunity to earn one or more of over 40 industry certifications available within our CTE courses. There are many advantages to earning industry credentials while still in high school. On the financial side, the training for these certifications comes at little or no cost to the student. In those areas where there is a fee, we have a partnership with Sci-Hope to ensure financial need does not stand in the way of students capitalizing on this opportunity. Oftentimes, students face challenges getting that first job when competing for the position against those with experiences. Earning certifications while in high school gives them the chance to highlight their ability to focus and learn and hopefully get their foot in the door with an interview. In fact, there are several CFISD employees who started their training for their current job in a CTE class. For example, the welding industry will face a shortage of about 400,000 welders across the U.S. by 2024, according to the American Welding Society. Students in our welding and ag mechanics classes have the opportunity to gain a variety of welding certifications, making them prime candidates for these positions. Here's just one example of the value our students receive by completing their certification while in high school in CFISD. We looked up what it would cost someone to earn their cosmetology operator's license from 3 different institutions. You can see that the cost could be as much as $27,000, but in CFISD, it's only $453. Many careers require education and our training beyond high school. The CTE staff regularly meets with the staff at Lone Star College Cyfair to ensure we are lining our students up for that next step. This often involves looking for dual credit opportunities, sharing best practices, and or comparing input we receive from our respective business advisory groups. Not all students opt to go to a traditional college or university right out of high school. Some students use portfolios of their work to get into institutions such as the Culinary Institute, the Art Institute, Tulsa Welding School, Universal Technical Institute, Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising, Colorado School of Mines, and more. Circling back to our logo, tonight I've shared why we feel that in CFISD CTE, opportunity starts here, whether that be with the opportunity to take courses in a variety of fields, the opportunity to learn utilizing industry standard equipment and materials, the opportunity to earn industry certifications while still in high school, and the opportunity to be in a position to continue learning and training after high school. Any questions? Thank you.
I have a question.
You knew I had to ask some questions, right?
Sure.
First, thank you for the presentation, very thorough.
You're welcome.
Also, kudos for the CTE department that you and your team have built. I mentioned to the Senior Vice President of Conoco, who is a speaker for JA Inspire, that 89.6% of our graduates were deemed by the state of Texas to be career and college ready. And the work that your department does is a key component of earning such a high mark. A couple of questions, and these are a little unfair because I didn't get them to you beforehand, and I apologize.
Okay.
What percentage of our graduates typically will come out having taken a CTE course? And then a secondary question, approximately how many certifications are earned by our students on an annual basis?
I can't tell you the exact percentage of students who come out of high school taking a course. I do know that it's going to be a large percentage because each year we have about 30,000 students sitting in our classes, which is a large percentage of the high school. So then over their 4-year career, the percentage of students who have taken one by the time they graduate will be high. And trying to recall the exact numbers on certification. What we do, oh, here.
Mr. Jackson, well, the data that we do have is regarding graduation rates for students who have participated in the CTE program, and it's over 95% of the students graduate.
Well, and that is a tremendous correlation. Would you also think that there's causality in addition to correlation?
I do believe that.
You know, which is very clear. Part of our business is to ensure that we have graduates, right? The number that you gave me for last year, and granted we're a year advanced, is we earn more certificates each and every year than we have graduates, meaning we have more than 8,000 certificates earned by our various students, which is simply tremendous. And I seem to recall that over 40% of all our graduating seniors took one or more of these CTE courses, which I also think is very exceptional. What are the benefits to our students of taking a CTE course, would you say?
Well, if I just kind of refer back to the presentation, I think the benefits are to, it's that whole idea of getting to experiment with the various fields of industry, being able to have the opportunity to work with industry standard equipment and materials, to get their an opportunity to earn credentials while they're still in high school and line themselves up to continue on to whatever that may be that they need, whether if their career requires additional education, additional training, or it's something like the cosmetology operator's license where they're ready to go out, hang their shingle, and start serving clients.
I think what you pointed out was of critical importance, and I'd like to repeat it. Y'all are teaching our students using industry standard software and practices, correct?
Correct.
I know on an anecdotal basis, when my son went through the CTE program, when he went away to college, what he had learned within the school district was actually more advanced than what they were teaching at the university he attended. And it stayed with him all the way through his master's program at another university. So I congratulate y'all on keeping us up to date, and I know as a trustee, I'm always proud to vote whenever you come and ask for funding to keep the CTE program current with industry standards.
Thank you.
So thank you.
Just before you sit down, because y'all do an awesome job.
Oh, thank you.
And I know you were just a tad bit busy this last weekend.
Just a little.
But I want to compliment you on the Ready, Set, Teach.
Okay.
Because it is so important, and we know it is one of our goals, and that is finding quality teachers to come into our district and teach. And when we can get our own to come back, which it's always interesting at the very beginning of the year to see we have a large percentage of our new teachers have actually gone through our school district. But today I learned something that I hadn't realized before, and that is we had a young lady that I met that's doing her student teaching from another university right up the road, which I won't mention their name because they always go whoop, but I don't like that. Anyway, she did tell me she went through the Ready, Set, Teach, and she was excited about the student teaching in Cypher because there was a potential of a letter of intent when she finished her student teaching. And I think that's just ingenious. So thank you for doing that.
You're welcome.
One other comment before you sit down. You know, I'd like to show this working prototype, and this was done by your students in your department as part of the Hunch program. And what I find remarkable is the final prototype is in the International Space Station as we speak today. So the work that your department has put together is in outer space. That's pretty cool stuff. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, Denise. I'd like to give you just a very short overview and update on our JA Inspire program. You know, it's a phenomenal program. We're in our 4th year of providing this program. And as Mr. Jackson said, I think he read my script, actually, to tell you the truth. As Mr. Jackson said, it was a brainchild of our own Dr. Henry and also the JA board president, I believe at that time, and then Rick, of course, being in there. But it does offer just a unique career awareness for our 8th graders. At the time we started it, it was the first and largest event in the greater Houston area where all 8th grade students in a district were involved in a job awareness fair that allowed them the unique opportunity to interact with businesses and companies through different modalities, whether it was through different stations or listening to different speeches. I guess I have the clicker, don't I? There we go. So the goal of J Inspire really remains the same as when we started, and it is to increase career awareness of district 8th graders using an exciting and new event structure, an opportunity for them to interact with businesses and companies and be engaged in that. And through J Inspire, our 8th graders are learning about career and workforce opportunities that are essential in our community and the greater Houston area. And local and regional businesses are secured as both presenters and exhibitors for greater student impact. And if you've visited, which most of you have, you can see just the engagement of all of our students. Now, the idea for this project actually came at the perfect time. You've heard mention of the House Bill 5 and the graduation plan a couple of times this evening, and that's why it was a perfect time. When House Bill 5 came on board, it was requiring our 8th graders to make some important choices regarding graduation. Their plans for high school that including selection of one of 5 endorsements by the end of their 8th grade year. And we knew, Dr. Henry kept talking to us about how are they going to do this? They don't have an awareness of what jobs are out there or what careers are out there. Many of them do not. With our population being over 50% economically disadvantaged, we knew we had a lot of students who had not been exposed to different careers and workforce type opportunities. So J Inspire came at the perfect time as they were having to make selections for their future in high school. So when our students come to the JA program, to one of those 3 days, they have already or are receiving lessons in the foundation graduation plan and the endorsement. So they've got some background knowledge of what they're going to be seeing and a little bit about career choices. They've already taken a career assessment tool. They have either developed or are beginning to develop their 4-year plan and choosing an endorsement, and then they come to J Inspire. So they're learning more about possibilities. They may go back and change the endorsement that they've selected. But there are different things that have already happened to get them ready to have the best experience that they can possibly have. There are 3 rotations that happen at J Inspire. I'll tell you that it starts with an opening keynote. I think Tom talked about that. And Rick over here does a wonderful job of getting them all excited and just screaming and yelling. And somehow he's got this magic touch where he just kind of brings them all back down to just a peaceful level, and they're ready to listen to whoever our keynote speaker is. During the industry presentation rotation, which is rotation 1 that could follow, students attend sessions that pertain to their endorsement option. So they've already selected endorsement, as I said, and so these industry presentations are divided by the different endorsement options. And you can see, I don't know if you can see through that document, but how we actually divide them. During that time, the speakers speak to them about their current jobs, possible jobs of the future. As Denise said, there's lots of jobs out there that are going to be created that we can't even imagine at this time. the skills and education that are required for different jobs, and the courses that they may want to take in high school that'll get them prepared for a career in this different area. And they're also encouraged to develop individual career maps. In the rotation 2, or the career stations, in this station, the companies exhibit their different opportunities around the entire concourse area. And this year, we had somewhere around 30 companies. Did I count that right? About 30 companies were part of our career stations. So these companies are encouraged to provide hands-on or wow factor type activities in their booths. And because we know our 8th graders need that activity. They're very tactile and very visual, and they need to kind of see it and feel it to believe it. So the students are provided information about careers that each company has to offer. And the students in the career stations are encouraged to ask questions. And JA really thinks of everything. They're 8th graders. So they even provide them with a list of possible questions that they may ask all of these different companies. So questions such as, what does your company do? What careers do you see your company offering or needing to be filled in years to come? What skills might you need for those careers? And then, how do I get ready for a job like the one that you have? So they've got different questions that they can ask for any of the different stations. And then there's a rotation for soft skills. And so in this rotation, you can see kind of in the picture way in the back, you might see some kids back there. So they have the kids role play like interviews and interviewing skills, and then the other kids will critique some of those interviewing skills. But they're talking to them about get ready now before you have to write a resume. Get involved in some leadership activities, different clubs, just different activities, volunteer, things like that will get you ready as you start having to put together a resume. They talk about communication skills, the critical thinking and problem solving. They talk about, we may not know what the jobs are in the future, but we do know that you're going to have to be a critical thinker and a problem solver to be able to be ready for those jobs. They talk about teamwork and collaboration and positive attitude. They talk about dress. What does dress look like? Attendance, about making sure that you're on time, for any jobs. Did I just go forward one? Yeah, I did. Sorry. There we go. There we go. Sorry. And then I love that top part. They're talking to them about the internet. They're talking about what impact that might have on you as somebody that's applying for a job. They're talking about that employers nowadays, that's one of the things they look at, social media, as part of your packet. So this year, we had 8,779 8th graders over 3 days. That's about 2,900 8th graders at one time. That's a lot of 8th graders at one time. But if you're in there, I mean, you see lots of bodies that you see there, but it's very smooth. The transitions are smooth. They've got this down to an art now. It's over 3 days, as I said, and as I said, we had about over 30 companies that were part of J Inspire. Each of the students received a booklet like this, and it has such valuable resources in it. I think everyone needs a booklet actually like this. It's filled with information on the rotations, the expectations for the rotations, tips to have a successful rotation. As I mentioned, the questions to ask in each of these rotations, and there's an area there for notes that kids can take. It's a very valuable tool. But in addition to that, there's information on projections for occupations in the future. There is information on the top 50 employers in our greater Houston area. And there's even information on the highest paying jobs, which they love to look at. So it is just full of information for our students. All right. There you go. So this year, we introduced Morton. And he is our virtual, augmented reality friend. And in the booklet, you will find Morton just kind of hidden in different places. And there's an app that the students can download. And every time when they find Morton, they can kind of put their phone over Morton and, whoops, what did I do? There we go. And look what happens. Oh, no sound. So basically there you go. You put it over and you might get a video that pops up or Morton giving you instructions or just other information. So I just want to show you kind of briefly how augmented reality is now a part of J-Inspire. So this is a huge project, almost 9,000 kids. And I want to just again thank J-Inspire for partnering with us in this initiative. With us today, and I want to recognize them, is Rick Franke. So Rick, if you'll stand, he's the president of J-Inspire. And I'm not sure if Tom mentioned this, but this was his last Cypher ISD J-Inspire event. He's retiring. He's retiring. So help us give him a round of applause for being with us. And Jennifer Anderson, I always want to call you Anderson. Jennifer Anderson, if you'll stand up. She's a Junior Achievement of Southeast Texas Executive Vice President, and she's kind of our rock with this. You know, she kind of keeps everybody on target and has a timeline for us. So thank you both for joining us.
Linda,
Well, also,
before you go forward, I just want to personally thank Rick. I mean, Rick, I've been here 7 years, and the number of students that you've had a great impact on, I just can't be more grateful the work that you've done. And just in Cypher ISD, the last 4 years, somewhere around 33,000 students have benefited just from this program. And thank you for your leadership and all of your foresight. And of course, Jennifer does all the heavy lifting. And I just want to make sure this board and this community knows what a positive impact that you've had on our students here. So thank you so much.
May I say something?
You have to ask him.
Go ahead.
I just want to comment here. Been with Junior Achievement 34 years. I live in this district. My kids went here, graduated from here. And I just have to tell you, we do these events, as I mentioned, in several different districts with a lot of different students. In total, about 25,000 now per year. You have some of the greatest teachers. The kids come prepared. They are some of the most polite and engaged students that you can find anywhere in the country. And so a lot of the credit goes to this board, you as parents, the teachers that are here, and also I want to thank the ag team. I just bought 2 of your pigs and 15 of your chickens. So.
thank you, Rick. And you know, I forgot to mention, I know I mentioned that one of the goals was to duplicate this program, and they have done an exceptional job of doing that, as Tom said, in 3 other arenas. But they tell me that we're the best and the most organized. So along with JA, we have a team on the district side that partners with JA. And I first want to, and you mentioned this, Rick, I first want to thank our principals and our ministers, our teachers, our nurses, because if you're at JA, you see our principals and our administrators in and out of JA, and some of them are here, so I appreciate their support with the event. On the district side, the curriculum and instruction team, our point person, our lead person on this project is Lana Mock. Lana, stand up. Isn't she here? Yeah, Lana Mock. And then she is surrounded by our coordinators, curriculum directors, our assistant superintendents, who are all there to help her and support this initiative. But I also want to tell you that this could not be possible without the Berry Center staff. We couldn't have an event like this without the Berry Center. And so Beth and her team do a great job with making sure that everything is ready for us to move in and have this project. Our transportation staff, Matt and Bill and Kim, they do an exceptional job. In fact, they're the ones that tell us what schools can come on what days, because they know the routes, they know when they can get kids where they need to be. And one of the days it was raining, and they're out there and directing the buses, and they have some awesome rain gear, by the way, if you haven't seen it. So I appreciate them. And then our food service group, Darren, they just do an incredible job. They feed all of our kids, almost 9,000. And we're talking about they're feeding kids with all different kinds of allergies and making sure they have the right food for each child. And I'm not sure how they do it, but they get it done, and they do an awesome, awesome job with it. So I want to thank everybody. It does take a village to put on J Inspire, so I appreciate that. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
All right, any questions?
Well, just because you're going to retire doesn't mean we're going to stop this, right? Okay, that's all I wanted to know.
Thank you for the report. Did you?
Just another thank you for the 4 years that you've been involved. And of course, this is a tremendous amount of work. All the trustees have been to these events, and we all know and treasure what you do for our students. It does make a difference. You are planting seeds. It's always difficult to know when those seeds sprout and mature. But when you take a look at our public report and how our students do, this has to be part of it. As we learned in January, our 7th to 8th grade dropout rate is 1/4 of the Texas average. That's a 300% positive differential. And talking to neighbors who have kids that are in 6th grade and 7th grade, they know about this event. And they're all abuzz, ready to go to it because older siblings have been to it. And I'm convinced that this is an important part of the puzzle that permits you all to continue to achieve at the highest level. But I also understand this is an amazing amount of work to pull this off. So thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you, everyone. Great. We now go to 4B. The administration will provide an oral report highlighting the Jason Argonaut teacher and the student experience from summer 2017. Tiffany Smittendorf.
Good evening, Dr. Ogletree, Board of Trustees, and Dr. Henry. It's a pleasure to present to you this evening our 2017 Jason Learning Argonauts. Jason Learning is a world-renowned science education organization, and they coordinated a week-long expedition to Cape Eleuthera Institute in the Bahamas. So we need to go back to a place that's warm shortly. Chevron sponsored one CFISD middle school student and teacher to participate in this intensive week-long hands-on research experience that included working with resident and visiting scientists. So I'm honored to introduce our Argonauts this evening. First up, we have Smitha Baglavatula, who is an alumni of Smith Middle School, so not to confuse Smitha with Smith Middle School, but she is a current 9th grader at Bridgeland High School, and Tiffany Schmittendorf, who is our current science curriculum coach at Arnold Middle School. And so before they talk to you, they'd like to share a brief video so you get a feel for what their experience was like.
Good evening. I'd like to thank you all for giving me the chance to speak here tonight, as well as CFISD, the Jason Project, Chevron, and most importantly, my 8th grade science CCIS, Mr. Schmittendorf, for giving me the amazing experience of being a student Argonaut. On my trip to the Bahamas last summer, I was able to experience a great number of things that changed my life forever and for the better. From living and breathing sustainability at the Cape-Eleuthera Institute, to learning to fully immerse myself in living in the moment while swimming after sea turtles to capture and tag them for scientific research. However, the biggest lesson that I took away from this experience is that the best way to learn science is to be able to experience it firsthand. My trip last summer is the biggest testament to this, as many of the fun and amazing adventures that I had with my teacher, Mrs. Schmittendorf, and the rest of the team who I was with, who became like family to me while I was there, have stayed with me and still help me today in my science class, which, by the way, I'm in biology since I'm a 9th grader, have a firmer understanding and grasp of what's being taught to me during class. I believe that if students and teachers can work together more like this in order to create more intriguing and exciting science experiments and experiences, just like in the Jason Argonaut program, science will become a far more exciting and engaging subject. This doesn't need to be in the form of a big and fancy trip around the world, although that would be very nice, as the Bahamas is a very awesome place to go, but it's a lot warmer than here. Anyway, it doesn't have to be in the form of a big fancy trip around the world. It can be something as small and simple as a little backyard experiment, or maybe a discussion or debate during science class of current events and how they relate to what's being learned. I believe that as an Argonaut, a student Argonaut, that this integration of school science into cool real-life research and scenarios was the best part of my experience at the Cape-Eleuthera Institute, and many more kids should get this chance. Thank you all.
Good evening. I'd like to thank the CFISD, Jason Learning, and Chevron for this amazing opportunity. The Jason program not only gives students the chance to see the future that they can hold for them in STEM education, but it renews teachers' excitement for the learning process in their field. Many of us have been on the other side of education long enough that sometimes you miss the opportunity to be a student. Jason Learning is all about the experience. My Jason mission was to help catch sea turtles, to track migration, eating habits, size, and disease. Swimming with the sea turtles was exhilarating. The Institute at Cape-Eleuthera gave me the opportunity to live what I teach. The Institute had solar panels, wind turbines for electricity, water cisterns for rainwater collection used for drinking water and bathing, aquaponics for vegetables in the dining hall, composting for fertilizing the farm and gardens. The school even produced its own biodiesel to fuel its vehicles. The Institute is a wonderful model of sustainability in its practice. Now that I'm back home, I like to take better care of our environment. This experience has motivated me to encourage students and myself to take care of our earth. I understand that recycling, reusing, and reducing is a mind shift, but it starts with one change at a time. I started using recyclable bags at the grocery store, and it's even saved me a little bit of money because I can't buy as much. Lessons over time I have developed in resource management and sustainability directed towards energy and water conservation. Conservation in Texas is an important issue, and something students can do in their daily lives and have a positive change on the environment. Many students believe that to do research, you must be old, wear a lab coat, and be trapped inside a lab. This simply isn't true. Many who choose STEM in college could be doing research at a young age, like many of the individuals that I had an opportunity to meet during this experience. This information is very impactful for our middle school students as they are developing their 4-year plans. The Jason program provided me with the excitement to motivate students, teachers, and even administrators. The best teachers are the ones who continue to be excited about what they teach and who are lifelong learners themselves. The Jason experience was priceless. Thank you.
And you saw a little bit on that video when Tiffany went overboard after that turtle. What you didn't see is how long of a swim was required before she caught the turtle. It was a good workout, pretty spectacular. But I'd like to really acknowledge the people who also helped to support these two individuals. Smitha's mother's here is tonight, and you may have caught the name similarity between Tiffany Schmittendorf and Adam Schmittendorf. But Adam was our first teacher Argonaut 2 years ago, and he is also an instructional specialist for science at Smith Middle School. And I think we actually have a couple of their admin here to support them tonight as well. Yes, we have the DI from Arnold and Mike Smith. Did you know that you have a student here tonight? Oh, well, welcome. But I'd also really like to thank Tom Jackson, because Tom is on our selection committee. So Monica Schmidt, the elementary coordinator, and myself, we review all the applicants, and then we come up with a consensus of who gets selected for that year. And we get the opportunity to go out and surprise them to let them know if they're selected as well. And we're really excited this year because we have 33 student applicants. So the word is definitely getting out. But thank you all.
Phenomenal. Thank you, Deborah Hill and Tiffany, and for your work with the students in Smitha. You are quite articulate, got quite an interest in science, and we wish you well. Thank you all. I'll go to our action items. Also, during the course of the committee of the whole meeting, it was the consensus of the board that the following action items be approved as submitted or amended. 5A, on the consensus, the board will consider approving the tax refunds of $500 or greater for Cypress-Fairbanks ISD. 5B, the board will consider approving the minutes of the January 23rd, 2018 regular meeting. And on Thursday, the following non-consensus items were placed on the consensus agenda. Items 6A, the board will consider awarding bids and contracts and/or authorizing purchase orders as recommended in the posted agenda item. And these were athletic and physical education equipment and supplies, classroom materials and supplies, fire extinguisher and fire safety products, inspection and maintenance, floor care machine replacement parts, science equipment and supplies, special education equipment and supplies. Also, 6C, the board will consider approving the external auditors, Weaver and Tidwell LLC, to perform the annual audit of the district's financial statements for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2018. Also, 6D, the board will consider approving the budget amendments for the period October 1, 2017 through December 31, 2017. And 6E, the board will consider approving on first reading additions, revisions, or deletions to district policies. They were CNA Local Transportation Management, Student Transportation, revised, CO Local Food Services Management, revised, FEA Local Attendance, Compulsory Attendance, revised, FFI Local Student Welfare, Freedom from Bullying, revised, and GKE Local Community Relations, Business, Civic, and Youth Groups. This is an add. Also, 6F, the board will consider approving on second reading additions, revisions, or deletions to district policies. And they were are tonight, BB Local Board Members Authority revised, CKC Local safety program, risk management, emergency plans, revised, FD local admissions, revised, GBAA local information access, requests for information, revised. And 6G, the board will consider approving construction proposal contracts paid from 2014 bond funds to the recommended contractor and authorize the superintendent or designee to execute all necessary documents related to such contracts as follows. They are the 2017 Cook and Truett Middle School renovations. And A6H, the board will consider approving and authorizing the superintendent or designee to enter into miscellaneous professional service contracts related to the following projects, and that project is the 2017 Cook Middle School renovations. If any board member wishes to remove one or more items for further discussion, please do so at this time. If not, I will entertain a motion to approve the consensus items as recommended or amended.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the consensus items as recommended or amended.
Thank you, Doug.
Second.
And right. Thank you, Bob. It's been moved and seconded that the consensus items be approved as recommended or amended. All those in favor, please raise your right hands. All right, that's 4 of us there. All right, we'll move to the non-consensus item on our agenda. The board, and that's 6B, the board will review and consider the adoption of the revised board operating guidelines outlining the duties of a public officer. All right.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I move that the board authorize execution of the revised board operating guidelines.
I second that motion.
All right, is there any discussion? Everyone understand, read it? All right, we will abide by this. All those in favor, would you please signify by raising your right hands. And that is 4 of us. It is approved. We've got to actually sign it. Wow, this is serious. All right. At this time, we will go to the superintendent's briefing portion of the agenda.
Thank you, Dr. Ogletree. Since 1976, every U.S. president has officially designated the month of February as Black History Month. Black History Month is a celebration of achievements by African Americans and a time for recognizing the central roles and contributions of Black Americans to this country. Curriculum activities and cultural arts programs will focus on the influence of Black history and its impact on the diversity of our nation and world. You can get insight into our district's history by learning about the early settlers of Independence Garden, currently known as the Carverdale community. We have a great video posted on our district website which tells their story and includes longtime community members sharing their memories. The Junior Achievement of Southeast Texas hosted JA Inspire on February 5th through 7th at the Berry Center. JA Inspire is Houston's largest one-of-a-kind interactive experience that exposes all CFISD 8th grade students to the vast variety of local career opportunities. This job awareness fair enables students to interact with business representatives and see displays from hundreds of Southeast Texas companies. The fundraising vendor fair is scheduled for February 20th from 1 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. at the Berry Center. The vendor fair provides an opportunity for our schools and community groups to preview fundraising options and speak directly with district-approved fundraising vendors. For the 3rd straight year, CFISD will host the UIL State Wrestling Tournament on February 23rd and 24th at the Berry Center. More than 4,000 students, parents, and community members visited the Berry Center on January 29th for the 2018 Horizon Student Showcase, allowing students in the Gifted and Talented program to present and exhibit a vast array of advanced level products and projects. Horizons students of all ages and grades showcased their many gifts and talents for family members and the CFISD community. The 5th Annual Superintendent's Fun Run and Festival is scheduled for March 24th from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the Berry Center. Registration is now open. Proceeds from this event will help fund scholarships and teacher development grants through the Cyfair Educational Foundation, and you can sign up for that online. I'd like to remind the community that Monday, February 19th is President's Day, but school will be in session in order to meet the minimum number of instructional minutes as required by TEA. So please remember that Monday, February 19th is an instructional day, a student day, a school day. So please show up that day to make up for at least one of the 11 that we've missed this year due to inclement weather. We thank you so much and appreciate your understanding. Thank you, Dr. Ogletree.
Thank you, Dr. Henry. We do not have a closed session tonight, so this meeting is now adjourned. Thank you.